Hello guys and girls and welcome to what I think is the most exciting game so far of the Canberra Dota 2 LAN here at Sky Internet Cafe, and very much thanks to the Barracks. Well, I'm joined today by Cold Blood from GameStar. How you doing?
Good, Logic. Doing fantastic. Excited to see this game. You've hyped it up for me in the past couple of minutes. We got AVANT GARDE Young Money Club versus Really Angry Daniels, who are apparently Radiant and Dire, which is probably a more fitting team name for Dota. We'll go ahead and jump into the Hero Select here, ladies and gents. We'd like to give a big thank you to Sky Internet Cafe and the Barracks LAN Cafe for hosting our tournament here. And esports of the nation's capital taking off. Excited to be a part of it, Logic.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely great. I've had the privilege of playing with Avant only a slightly little bit during the Defence of the Australians, but mainly during only a little bit during the Defence of the Australians. But I've played a lot with RAD, who were previously Really Angry Daniel. Recently got a new banner, recently got a new name, Radiant and Dire. Either way, they're RAD. We know them as RAD, and we know them as the winners of the MASCA Cyber Wars final, run by the Malaysian Students Association of Australia, Students' Council of Australia, here in Canberra, and honestly, I think this is going to be a really exciting match. Who do you favour for the win here, knowing the little bit that you do about the teams?
Well, AVANT GARDE have played phenomenally today, so I have to give some respect to them. But the way you talk about Radiant and Dire, I'm compelled to think they're quite good as well. So I'd give AVANT the advantage just because I've seen them play extraordinarily well today. But looking forward to a close game. We haven't had too many of those today, but hopefully we're about to get treated to one. Doom, Faceless Void, Lycan, and the Brewmaster have been banned out in the first stage. And interestingly, that Razor has been ignored thus far in the entire draft, because he's been a massive priority today.
Honestly, I think something that we've seen from Avant is their slight lack of seriousness, I guess, in terms of giving up the first bloods in the early parts of the games. They've lost their first games, they've lost first bloods. Mids hasn't been doing it particularly well, and I think that Avant are taking this game a little bit more seriously. And what they've started doing is they started saying, okay, we're not going to pick the Razor that basically relies on, bad enemy team play or a strong enemy right clicker. We're going to pick heroes that we can play well with, that we can use against them, and that we can play really well. Just as I say that the Razor is, however, picked up. So obviously Avant GARDE, okay, they know what they're doing, but Tidehunter and Skywrath Mage are very common. We've seen them before. They're not necessarily pushing heroes, they're teamfight heroes, but RAD have a very strong teamfight that I'd love to see.
To be fair, the Razor is a really great pick against the Tidehunter, because you can send him into the off lane against the Tidehunter, steal all. We saw this earlier on. Razor will steal all his damage, and Tidehunter starts with a lot of base damage at level 1, but that doesn't mean anything if Static Link is transferring all of that to Razor. So Razor can free farm all day long and deny that blink from the Tidehunter. So Tinker, Centaur, Warrunner, and Skywrath Mage have come out. Centaur, his first showing of the day, as far as I'm aware, grants fantastic mobility to his team, and a rather early Storm Spirit pickup.
Yeah, Storm Spirit being picked up on the side of RAD there. We know that RAD can play really well under Silencer. Gosh, this is slowly tending towards something a little bit stranger, but it's interesting that Avant pick up the Silencer here. This is a little bit away from the norm.
Yeah.
I wonder if RAD are going to be able to deal with this. I mean, we see the typical bans. We've got a Visage, which isn't a very typical ban. It used to be a very typical ban, but now it's a little bit more of a niche. And with a Silencer pickup, I'm wondering if this is going to be a heavily one-sided game to this weird thing, whatever Avant has that they're wanting to do, or whether it's going to be a genuinely close game between a team that's practiced a strategy and a team that's just doing what they do best.
I think the Silencer is in response to the Storm Spirit pick. It was very quick. And Storm Spirit is almost completely useless when he's silenced. That's why you see Doom against him a lot. Of course, Doom has been banned every single game that we've cast today. But if you think about it, so far the entire RAD lineup completely useless without their spells. 3-4 seconds of silence to all of them could create a massive, well, a stampede of a team fight in Avant Garde's favour, and you know, they can stampede in with the Centaur War Runner and take advantage of that small window they get where the enemy cannot respond.
So RAD has actually picked up the Naga Siren here. We've seen Avant play a Naga Siren, and I was wondering if they were considering that for their last pick, and whether that's been a semi-deny sort of last pick there. Either way, Naga Siren Tidehunter combo can work extremely well, even with the Skywrath Mage. My goodness, Naga Siren Tidehunter Skywrath. I can't wait until they get a really good 5-man Naga, in which case it'll just fit it in perfectly. I think RAD will be wanting to pick a strong second support now, and I'd love for them to pick a support that's usually not played as a safe lane support, or even as an off lane support, having a tri-lane Naga Siren Skywrath Mage, and you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking Darkseer.
Darkseer, that would be great. I think they need some right click though. Vengeful Spirit would be a decent pick, I think. It adds, you know, right click to everyone, which they desperately need against the silence. It's just such a powerful ability, the global silence. It's how long? Well, it didn't tell me how long it is at the start, but Mirana is the last pick. That is perfect for them. It gives them that the way to deal with the engage from Avant Garde with the Moonlight Shadow. The CC, the right click damage of Mirana is respectable as well. So that's a fantastic pick. I'm not sure how Shadow Shaman and Mirana snuck through the last picks though. They're normally quite high priority. So it's interesting that they sneak all the way to this one. Looking forward to this one, ladies and gentlemen. We'd be interested in what you have to say. If you want to say hello in the Twitch chat on twitch.tv/onlylogic, and give us your opinion on what is about to go down here. What is K-Feeney? So K-Feeney, we can imagine that he's going mid with the Tinker. Will they be able to shut him down here, Logic? Oh.
Yeah, almost certainly. Well, actually, they will be able to, but it really depends on what build K-Feno goes. We know K-Phoenix, as some people know him, as the best. He was actually number 1 on the Southeast Asian leaderboards. The Southeast Asian leaderboards, number 1 is, you know, absolutely insane.
So,
and it's looking like the ping. No, ping. I'm getting 16-second ping, 16 millisecond ping.
Might just need to calm down.
But yeah, no, I think you know, Tinker versus a Storm Spirit, it can go for the Tinker, but usually the Storm Spirit can do a good job of winning that lane. Like, Storm Spirit, even when he gets level 6, shouldn't have too much trouble in that lane, as long as he's cautious with how much health he has and his mobility, and his exact level of mobility.
I'm just thinking, K-Feeney played this exact matchup in reverse earlier on. He was the Storm Spirit against the Tinker, and he destroyed him with the ganks coming in from the supports, which I believe one of them was a Shadow Shaman before as well. I'm excited to see how the silencer goes. We're getting into the game here, ladies and gents. I'm not sure what courier that is for the Radiant team, but it is magnificent. Mini Roche. We've got some exciting things going on in other games here, ladies and gents. We'll go through the teams representing really angry Daniels, or the Radiant and Dire side. Over on the Radiant, we have Bloodstruck as the Tidehunter as they start to smoke and get into position. Big Cow will be the Storm Spirit Naga Siren, played by Virgil7. Actually started with the Poor Man Shield, so expecting a lot of harass early on. Skywrath Mage will be Obita, and rounding out Team Radical is Mesomni, or Mesomni?
So horny.
Oh, okay.
30 seconds.
Is the odd one out, me so horny, thinking about whether they're going into the jungle there. And let me introduce the team of Avant here. Up in the top lane, you've got Jan on the Shadow Shaman, and the little Smiley playing the Razor again. We've seen him play a really good carry Razor in the other games, and I don't think it'll be any different this game. Fantasy is going to be mid on the Silencer. No, he's just moving through the mid to leave it for Kefini on the Tinker. And in the solo off lane, or maybe even the dual off lane, we've got Centaur Warrunner played by M. I'm getting a little bit of feedback on your microphone there. If I could just get you just to
Yep,
set
no
that
problem.
down just a little
Take
bit.
a look at the Tide Hunter here, Logic. I think something may be going down. Tide Hunter has massive base damage, and Gush is a pretty powerful slow. So while I fix my mic, just try and keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, definitely. Tide Hunter's moving around here. He's got his invis, but it looks like nobody's moving forward. It looks like Avant is playing really, really safely. It's probably because it is just a Shadow Shaman on his own. So it looks like that ward is just going to wear out. That invis rune, sorry, is just going to wear out and not deal much damage. So we can see that actually it's Virgil going into the mid versus Kphony, and he's taking a lot of harass because it's actually going to be really hard for Naga in the mid as opposed to the Storm Spirit. But the Storm Spirit's going into the safe lane versus the Silencer, which is going to be just as hard for him. So I have no idea why they don't switch these lanes around. I honestly have no idea why they don't switch these lanes around. Meanwhile, M realizes that something's going on, and they've switched their teams around. Bloodstruck is going to be just watching this section here. And yeah, the Mirana just making sure that the area is well laned, I guess. We see Kphony is top with, on the last hit chance, 9-4, closely followed by Mirana, 8-5 in that top lane.
Yeah, 9-5, just as you say, that she equals herself up with the Tinker. So we've got the pulling going on at the easy camp over here. Storm Spirit, he should be struggling early on. I think the idea here for Radical is the sooner they get the Radiance on Naga, the sooner they can get the game into their control. That might be their line of thinking. Their haste rune on the Skywrath Mage going to do a bit of damage to Kphony, but not the most respectable amount. Arrow misses at the top lane on M, and we could have some action in the mid here, Logic.
Yeah, and there's been a smoke gank, so it looks like there might be some action going on. Obita looks like he just wants to harass, though. Jan and Fantasy are coming in, and it looks like they might be going down to take out Big Cow, actually. Movement coming in into the jungle, and Big Cow is actually going to move upwards, and this is not the position that he wants to be in. There has been a TP from Tide Hunter to come in here, but Jan is going to be in a bad position, and Big Cow is just going to go up, and he's decided that he's just going to go for the kill, but will he be able to get it? Oh, Big Cow going very low. First blood is drawn to Jan, the Shadow Shaman that gets the kill.
Look how much that Razor had about 160 damage on him, and Storm Spirit had -20. So that was a very one-sided fight, which is to say the least. So Razor picking up the first blood. I believe actually it was the Shadow Shaman who got it, I think. Yeah,
Shadow Shaman getting the
They'll be happy with that one.
Gold there. Yeah, and the lanes have started switching around, but we see that Obita here is still going to have a little bit of trouble with this quite tanky M here, and Avant are going to be playing very, very safely, and we can tell here. If we take a look at the XP and gold graphs, we can see that it has dropped hugely towards Avant. Oh my goodness, gold graph at 1,000 in favor of Avant, purely because of their farming and the fact that Rad and Big Cow are here rather than being in the team fight, rather than being at least an experience range to try and get last hits. And it's the same with Virgil. If we take a look at the difference, Tinker already level 5, Virgil only level 4, because he's basically relying on his Riptide to try and get last hits from a total mana pool of under 300.
Oh, look what the Tinker's doing here. He's going for stats over more points in either that assassination build you talked about before, heat-seeking missile, or the farming build. He just wants the pure damage and tankiness and armor. And now we have the gank coming in from Avant. Silence onto Virgil, throws out the mirror image. I think they know which one is real there. They are pinging on it. But
Oh, that was almost well duped by the Naga Siren, almost well duped by the Naga Siren, and you can see that the difference between this game and the other games that Avant have played, it really is starting to show. Avant doing a good job of putting a lot of pressure in the early game, something that we haven't seen him do. Having said that, Obiter is smoked up. He wants to come in, he wants to kill Kphony, and RAD Virgil has come in and he's trying to deal the damage, but the slow has come out, and Kphony does cast 2 points of his March of the Machines, and now they're trying to go after him, but because he's got the Invis ward, he is able to kill him using just the March of the Machines. Amazing play by Kphony there. That's what makes him top 5 in Southeast Asia.
I'll have to correct myself on earlier logic. He didn't actually put any points in the stats. He was holding on to the points to see how the next couple of minutes played out. And as soon as that gank came in, he leveled up his laser, and you saw what happened there. Spamming pings on the real Nagasaran to make sure that they could keep a track of her. And Avant taking a big lead early on, instead of feeding first blood, as has been the name of the game for them these days. So, the Centaur Warrunner is doing very well for himself. Already has the Tranquility Boots, so working, or Tranquil Boots rather, and is working towards that Blink Dagger for himself. Marana is actually got the highest amount of farm.
Yeah, Tinker just gets the bottle in the mid lane, even though Marana does have the highest amount of farm. We're moving it on to Miso Horny, and he's actually going to be stunned up. It looks like there is enough damage. Centaur Warrunner does get nuked a little bit, but Overton knows that he can't chase that, not with a Shadow Shaman sticking around there. If we take a look, as you say, the kills and last hits definitely going in favour of Marana, but if we look at net worth, we'll actually see a completely different story. The net worth is ultimately going up for the Tinker, who's done absolutely amazingly in the lane and can't really do much against Virgil here. Bloodstruck not level 6 yet, which means that he can't actually chase some of these heroes, but they are going to back off anyway. They don't want to try and find this Tidehunter in the top lane.
So I'm wondering if, I was just about to say they're probably going to start stacking the Ancients.
And just to interrupt you there, Centaur Warrunner going down with a really nice arrow from Miso Horny to get them on the board. That's 1-4.
And that gets them the Moonlight Shadow. Fantastic play from Radical. A key pick-off as well, because Centaur was well on his way to a blink, so delaying that's going to be great. Down to the bottom lane, Big Cow goes down to the last glaives of wisdom from Silence, and we've got to keep in mind he gains intelligence when he is near a killer assist, which he has been almost all of them, over half of the kill participation. In the mid, Virgil gets netted under the... Feeney gets netted under the tower, and Virgil's forced to get out of there. The high base damage to Tidehunter, not enough, and Fantasy comes in to provide a bit of support. So big amount of damage done to both mid laners, no kills finalized. And a bunch of blue wards on that Roshan, mini Roshan.
I just think I feel really sorry for this Nagasaran, who's not going to be able to get any sort of farm the entire game. She is, however, going to get the luck of the draw on the rune this time at least, so hopefully it'll make it a little bit easier. We can see that Razor is trying to dive this tower and trying to go for Big Cow. Stampede has been called, and that he does go down really simply, but Obiter has come in, and this time it will be a kill. They are able to turn it around. Obiter taking a lot of damage. Fantasy going down as well, and now they're going to be able to switch onto this Razor. Bloodstruck doesn't have his gush yet, and he's just not been able to use it, seeing as he did use his Anchor Smash instead of being able to get that gush. And now Virgil comes in, and he's got his Haste Rune. Will he be able to? He does cast the net, and he goes down as well. Great fight going for Radical there, sorry.
That was a bit of an ill-advised tower dive, I think, Logic. Maybe a bit greedy.
But very good response playing out by RAD there. If we take a look at the quick graphs, we see that it is starting to plateau, and all RAD needs to do is a few more of those to be able to really make the team fight happen. Having said that, the supports are already here, and we're going to see Jan move right in, and we're going to turn him into a sheep. Fantasy's going to take a lot of tower damage though, and RAD isn't actually going to die. One more Glaives isn't going to do it. Fantasy's going to take a lot of tower hits, but he's ultimately going to be fine, and I reckon Big Cow should have turned and fought this, to be perfectly honest. He definitely can't stay on this lane. He's going to have to try and get out of here. We see the Riptide coming very, very close, but not getting him. The TPs are going to come in. They're going to go in for Jan. We can see the right clicks coming in. Jan does go down once again, diving a little bit too far down into this tower, as you mentioned before.
Ravage is now available. Big Cow's being fed quite a bit of golden XP, or maybe not gold, but XP, after being zoned out for so long. Razor has Eye of the Storm, but Ravage is also available. Ball Lightning just about to become available, so RAD can start making some of their own picks. And I wonder how many of these 5 kills from Radical were from, you know, fighting under their own tower.
Yeah.
Oh, Virgil being jumped on. He pops the Song of the Siren as he gets static linked, and Eye of the Storm gets popped as well. I think he'll be able to float his way out of this one. We got an invisible Tidehunter there, but the blue, oh, not the blue ward, sorry, they got too close to the Razor to be revealed. Whole bunch of illusions saying hello to each other. And can Big Cow get, you know, he cancels the Ball Lightning. So, nicely done by Virgil there, trying to catch up, and this Tinker's now reached the point where he's going to become a problem.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now that he's level 10, in one more level he can cast his rearm in 2 seconds and basically be everywhere at the map at once. He's just turned into a quantum particle basically. And Avant are going to need to find, not Avant, sorry, Radical are going to need to find a way to lock him down. I'm thinking probably with a Skywrath Mage and the Ancient Seal that duration is going to need to increase, and Skywrath Mage has put a lot of points into Arcane Bolt as well as his Mystic Flare. Don't get me wrong, Tinker is still reasonably weak.
At the bottom lane we've got the Centaur War Runner blinking in, stunning the Storm Spirit, and the Plasma Field will finish that one up. Sorry to interrupt you there, Logic.
No, that's fine. I was able to just catch him as he died, unfortunately, but that does let us know that War Runner
Centaur War Runner's had enough of his team with their shenanigans at bottom. He'll force feed them the kills.
But that Blink Dagger, oh, that's going to be such a worry. If we take a look at the net worth, though, we see that it's not exactly dire. I mean, don't get me wrong, Tinker and Razor are very far ahead, but the difference between, you know, the gap between Mirana as well as the Centaur War Runner isn't that different, nor is it that different to the Naga Siren, who has had a lot of pressure in the mid lane, but has still been playing reasonably well. Big Cow is going to have to play very carefully though.
We do have to keep in mind that Mirana has invested in a Hand of Midas, so she's gone for the investment, and if Radical can hold out, that will pay dividends and she'll be able to pump out that damage. I'm not sure if she has enough damage to solo carry though, that's the problem. I mean, Skywrath Mage does a massive amount of damage without any items. Ravage is going to be massive as well. Ravage is on cooldown, it must have happened somewhere. The bottom lane, yeah, K-Feeney's going to come in and ensure this tower continues to get pressured. So I'm wondering if Mirana's going to be able to hold off long enough for the Naga Siren to get going. That may be what Radical are looking for.
Yeah, Glyph has come out here. Radical not doing much of a good job of being able, and we can see that the Centaur War Runner is here in the trees. He's just waiting for a good opportunity to go in. Big Cow is going to have to play very careful, and there he does go in, but he will be targeted. Doesn't matter that Storm Spirit dies pretty much instantaneously. Virgil is there. Is there a stun? Where's the stun? Virgil does actually get it off. Get the Song of the Siren off, but is it too little too late? There's no more slow, and it's so close to death. Yes, he does. He is able to get over that, and that's a 290 gold going for that Naga Siren. Tinker tries to come in, and Bloodstruck goes in, and the net has gone in and actually interrupted the channel on the cancelling. So Virgil actually is in a very bad position here, and Fantasy taking way too many hits. One more hit. Yes, Virgil does get the kill, and that puts Virgil on a killing spree. But will K-Phony be able to get him? The answer is maybe, but possibly not. Virgil's going to have to play very safe. Oh, it didn't. I wasn't able to get his spells off. TP's coming in. K-Phony going very low. Again, actually going less than half health. And that's 424 gold going for him. So this is a little bit of a weird game, but ultimately it's plateauing around 3,000 experience. It's plateauing around 6,000 gold. It's reasonably even so far.
Definitely not unsurmountable, that's for sure. We had a kill up in the top lane against the Shadow Shaman. I believe it went the way of the Storm Spirit, so much needed gold going into his pocket. As let's have a look at the item thresholds here. How far away is Tidehunter from his blink? Still a fair way, about 1,500 gold. We have, the Midas on Mirana, and she's got those phase boots. Got a decent chunk of gold as well. Maybe she needs to go for a BKB verse, I'm not quite sure, but she's going to continue to do well at the top, although not if Mr. Unhappy Face has anything to say about it. He's just going to scoot past. We've got, looks like Virgil's going to ignore the Radiance and go straight for the Diffusal Blade, which I think is the right choice here, because Radiance is at least another 60 minutes off the way it's going. What do you oh, maybe it could be a Manta Star. I'm thinking Diffusal Blade. Logic, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm really not sure. I don't think it really matters for the Naga Siren. I think the Naga Siren sort of needs a Radiance if she's going to go as a carry Naga Siren, and they try to go in for Obiter. The ultimate is called, the arrow does come in, it actually almost hits the Tinker, which actually was not in the right position. The question is, the ultimate has been cast. The question is, are they going to go in? Yes, they are going to go in. The ultimate is cast. They're just melting. That's 2 down. Now they're going to go for Fantasy. There aren't any more stuns. Do they have the net? No, the ultimate prevents the net from being used. But that's 2 really good kills, and they're able to clean up these wards.
Get away from the missiles. Oh, God. So the tower ends up going down. Tinker almost gets a couple of cleanup kills. We've got the hasted up Razor coming in. Doesn't manage to intercept anyone. He was a little too early to the mark. There he goes. It's going to happen across a very low health Mirana, and she leaps right into the plasma field. There's a static link going off on the Tidehunter. Eye of the Storm doing its damage. Double kill for the Razor. And here is K-Feeney to back him up. Nice cleanup. Fantastic team fight at top, but they do lose their tier 1 tower, which means all outer towers have now bit the dust for Radical. They did lose some gold on that free farming Rana, who's going to go for the Lincolns next, and the global pressure of this Tinker is starting to take its toll.
Yeah, and it looks like Razor is taking the right approach and getting an Ogre Club. Could be for a Sanjin Yasha, but I think...
BKB, I think.
It could be for a Sanjin Yasha, but it was almost certainly for a BKB, and the Mithril Hammer in the stash definitely confirms it. And that's going to be very good, because Storm Spirit, a lot of magical nuke damage. Naga Siren, a lot of magical nuke damage. Murana, not so much magical nuke damage, but if you BKB that arrow, that really, really helps. It means that it's an arrow wasted, and you can join in on a team fight. Skywrath Mage is of course the king. You know, he just if there's a BKB against Skywrath Mage, that's just GG. So now the wards have come out. They do want to go for the Roshan pit now. Razor trying to tank those Roshan. I wonder if Rad knows what's going on. I wonder if Rad even has wards there. Yeah, you can see the warding from Rad isn't particularly strong. The question is, are they going to actually check this Roshan?
They've got all cooldowns except Ravage. Ravage has 25 seconds. I think this may be going to Avant. They're juggling the aggro incredibly well. As interesting that Curse of the Silent has been picked up by Fantasy. Now M is here to tank it up, and the Mass Servant wards have done their job. And this probably, goes over to the Razor, so he can run into the middle of the team, put out that Eye of the Storm damage, and be happy with if he goes down, because he'll jump straight back up, and he'll keep the damage of the static link. That's an important point to note. Getting close to the BKB, 500 gold off of that. 4 staff now finished by the Centaur War Runner, already doing a massive amount of damage, double edge. Meanwhile, Tinker is going to take someone down. So where was that?
Yeah, that was actually bottom lane. Tinker pouncing on Mirana there. And Dagon for the win
Yeah, he's
there.
gone the shotgun build.
That's because if you look at K-Phony, look at how much damage he is in the mid lane. The silence has been called. Virgil has been caught out. She will... Oh no! Terribly timed song, which means that... Razor might actually go down. He does go down, but once again, he does die. Bloodstruck does actually immediately get rid of the stun. Will he be able to turn it around? He will! He will! He's going to get the kill on M. So Bloodstruck isn't going to die, but... Storm Spirit is... this looked like such a promising game for Rad, who are doing so well, but Avant have just taken over, and with that unfortunate song miscommunication with the Ravage.
Get mad or get even?
Yeah, there's just not much to say apart from bad luck there. Pressing all the buttons, not always the right decision. Look at how much stuff Tinker is throwing out. Holy guacamole. As the tier 3 is getting chunked down by the level 1 Mass Serpent wards. There goes Tinker TPing back to the base. and already the high ground has been breached at almost the 20-minute mark. Moonlight Shadow is available. It looks like RAD are going to try and get a pick off. The Aegis is gone. Mystic Flare is going to do a lot of damage to Jan, but Tidehunter cannot withstand the damage output at the moment, as all the couriers are running around. Blank Dagger on the Shadow Shaman. Tier 3 in the mid has now gone down. The wards may even take the racks with them as well. No, I think they... Oh, well, the wards are gone, but I think AVANT are just going to stick around and take those down as well. And Radical don't have the best means to deal with super creeps. They're going to continue to try and go in. BKB is popped on the Razor, and Big Cow falls without being able to ball lightning out of there. And... there we go. Blink Dagon onto poor Mirana.
And that basically has to be the GG call. Let's take another quick look at the graphs. 10,000 in experience, 15,000 in gold. Yeah, I really can't see RAD coming back from this. And now Tinker's going to come in, and he's going to be able to cast his spells as well, and be able to help in killing this as well. M trying to go in to get a kill. Bloodstruck going down instantly to Kphony. Just absolutely owning as that Tinker. And there's the GG call. Well played to AVANT. They have moved into the grand finals, winning all of their upper bracket game. Congratulations to them.
Okay, so Canberra versus Sydney. Sydney will come out ahead. Fantastically played by AVANT. Much respect to RAD for how much they were able to pull out of a bad situation. The song Ravage at the end could have been better, but maybe they need to shut down a Tinker in the future. But to be fair, all of the lanes did quite well. So congratulations, AVANT, and we'll see them in the grand final, Logic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll definitely be casting the grand final, but we've got a few games from the lower bracket to cast here first. So RAD moving down into the lower bracket. And let me see here, lower bracket semi-finals. Yeah, okay, so the next game that we're going to cast is probably Sydney Titans versus the winner of Boys and 4FM. We will see you shortly.